guys, holy crap. This was interesting to try to put together. How is everybody doing? Welcome back to the stream.
Toss a coin to your streamer. Oh, Valley of Plenty. Oh, Valley of Plenty. Ho, ho, ho.
Oh my god, we're already going crazy over in here. Cobalt, thank you for the $1. I appreciate it. Can you guys hear me okay? I have an interesting setup going on here. Hold on a second. I'm trying to make sure I don't kill anything. Okay, I think we're good. How's everybody doing? You guys, we're going to talk about voiceovers today. You guys can also ask questions, but I'm going to get started in the beginning, just kind of telling my story, how I got into it in the first place, so you can kind of know the road that started. It's a VRC me. We're doing it in VRChat. It's the only way to do it. Hey, somebody did a subscribe. I can't see who it was because I'm in VR. So you guys, let's just jump right into it.
Toss a coin to your streamer. Oh, Valley of Plenty.
Stop giving me money.
Oh, Valley of Plenty. Ho, ho, ho.
Stop giving me money. I gotta start this thing, you guys. All right, so voice acting, you guys. Let me just go ahead and jump right into it in the beginning. So I started off basically, I was working at Publix at the time, and somebody sent me I had always kind of wondered what working with audio was like in general. As a kid, I've always been fascinated about, how do they do these monster voices? How do they do this stuff? Like, how do they put this stuff together? It must be like some crazy magic trick, right? So, I was in Publix working at the time. It's a grocery store here in Florida, doing the works. And then somebody sent me, it all started, a friend of mine sent me a Star Wars skit. Some of you might have seen it. It was a panel at Comic-Con where all the biggest voice actors were sitting at a table, right? And they were just reading a script. They were reading the Star Wars script, but they were reading it as their characters that they've performed in real life, like Batman and SpongeBob and Pinky and the Brain, and they were taking their cartoon characters and reading the Star Wars script. Some of you might have seen this Comic-Con thing. It's still on YouTube. I watched it, and they were basically doing the table reads, right? They were just doing a table read, just on the off the cuff, just doing it. And when they started doing that, I was watching them, and I was like, that's not that hard, right? That's easy. I can do that. Like, what they're doing is just being dumb and letting go and throwing their energy out, and then there you go, and they just kind of get to the voice, and there it is. So I kind of started dabbling a little bit. It was fun. Like anybody else, I started dabbling in voiceovers on YouTube, just posting random shit. If you go back into my oldest videos, you will see a lot of random weird voiceover shit. A lot of it I'm not proud of. But anyway, I posted it. Some of it's deleted. I didn't like it and I deleted it, but a lot of it's still posted up there. Just goofy shit. That was just me doing it as a hobby. I wasn't even looking to do it as a profession yet. I was just being goofy. But then as I started doing it as a hobby, I started getting into it. I was like, hey, well, some people are saying this actually sounds good. Some people were critiquing me. I started joining voiceover clubs and stuff like that. That's when I started joining the voiceover clubs. That's when I started getting into it. I started getting into it pretty good. Just doing free projects for people. I'm not even looking for work at this point, right? No work, just kind of doing stuff for people, doing animations here and there, but getting into it. And then you find out, once you start studying a little bit further, you find out, oh, this is not just all funs and games, right? This voiceover thing, voice acting, is not just all fun and games. Like, the biggest voice actors, they're getting into commercials first, right? Usually before they even touch animations. You can't, unless you're lucky and you find a client that just really wants you for something and you just get really lucky, usually that kind of luck just never happens. It doesn't happen. You got to start with the stuff you don't really want to do first. Commercials, radio, infomercials, all kinds of different radio stuff. A call, IVR phone call center stuff. I still do that stuff today. That's what's going to build the majority of your work. The majority of the work is definitely not cartoons, and unless you're living in Los Angeles and you hit it big with a recurring role as a big cartoon character, that's not going to be the makeup of your work, right? And so, even let's see, let me name some of the names here. You got Rob Paulson. He started off in commercials. He went and actually did face rolls when he first got to Los Angeles. He didn't just start off doing Pinky and the Brain, y'all. That took a while to get to Animaniacs and all the characters that he's done. He kind of found his niche there in animation, but he started off doing commercials and stuff, and like stuff he didn't want to do because he had to get paid. You have to work. You have to build a resume before people start noticing you. So getting into it, that's the stuff you got to get into. When you start looking for work, you're going to be going to now everything's online. Everything has changed. You don't go to Los Angeles, Chicago, New York to do work, right? Everything is online. The biggest, the professionals out there are kind of scared because now other people can, you can just get online, record an MP3, edit it, send it out to the client. The client listens to it. They like it. You nailed it. There you go. You get paid, and then you go look for the next job. But you showed a few online skits that I had seen before I met you on Twitch. Oh yeah, like I've done so much stuff. Some stuff I don't even remember. People will show me stuff. I'm like, I did that shit because you're
toss a coin to your streamer.
God damn it, Hamad!
Valley of Plenty. Oh, Valley of Plenty.
Hamad the dolphin. Hamad, are you a dolphin? I want to see your dolphin face. But yeah, that's that's how it starts. You're starting off as a hobby. The thing is, if you don't have a passion to put in the work, if there's no passion there to kind of put the work in to do these things you don't really want to do at the beginning, and then you're not gonna be able to build a career. You're not gonna start off doing Dragon Ball Z abridged, or even that, the quality of that at the beginning was really bad. DBZ abridged, it was really bad in the beginning, and then they got better. But like stuff like that, you don't start off doing that. The way I started off after everything, I got serious with it, is I went onto sites like Odesk, and what is the other one? Upwork, right? And then you got Voice 123, you got voices.com. You have clients that can find you if you really want to start at the lowest of the low, which is fine because you got to get experience. Go to fiverr.com. But even Fiverr has people with professional voice demos on there now. It kind of is. I don't like to work on Fiverr too much unless it's somebody that has like maybe a 200 word piece, because you're charging for how many words, right? If somebody has 100 words that you got to read, maybe $5. 200 words, it goes to $10. But it depends on what they're asking for, though, right? If they're asking to do a commercial, I'm not going to do a commercial for $5. It's never going to happen. I do a commercial for $100 or over, right? So you have to be wary of the kinds of projects that you're doing, because once you get good, you can't work for low undercut prices anymore. You can't be a cheapskate. Some people get into the business and they try to be a cheapskate to try to get clients, right? So a client will look at one person and be like, well, this person's charging 100, because you don't work a 9 to 5, by the way, you guys. Voice acting is not a 9 to 5 kind of gig, right? It's you look at the project. Is this for commercial? Is it for an infomercial? Is it for radio? Is it being played internationally? Is it being played just in that town? Is it being played, where is the reach of this voiceover that you're going to do? So if you do a voiceover that's 30 seconds for a commercial that's, for example, international, and you did it for $20, you just fucking you hurt yourself really bad. You let that person get away with getting this voiceover for a really cheap price. So, because think about it this way: in the union, there's two groups of voice actors, you guys. There's union and there's non-union. The union people are the people that are doing voiceovers for, and you guys know what the union is. It's the fair job, all that kind of stuff. People that watch over to make sure you're being paid fairly in the industry, whatever industry you're working in. So there is a union in the voice acting industry. So the unions, what they do is when you voice a commercial or something like that in the union, like say Coca-Cola, Nickelodeon, Disney, usually the unions are involved with big brands, right? But even the bigger brands are going non-union, some of them. That's how I got some work in bigger branded things like Buffalo Wild Wings. But going back, so the union, so let's say you voice a commercial for Disney. 30 seconds long. It's being played all over the country. That's thousands. When you do that, you initially might get paid like what, 100, 200, $300, but then you're getting residuals, right? Every time it's played, every time it's played anywhere, that's a $200 residual, right? You're getting paid residuals, and then that adds up. The more it's being played all over, the more you're getting residuals. You could end up with one commercial being $2,000, $3,000 of money just going, it keeps getting flown through the system, and you're getting residuals. That's a lot of money. So somebody going, that's what the non-union people try to undercut the prices, right? So the non-union people, they don't get that because they're not joined with the union. You got to be joined with the union in order to get that stuff. You got to work for, usually you got to be in Chicago. You got to be in New York. You got to be in LA to work with unions. Now, non-union, this is what's starting to take over. It used to be unions were up here, right? They were the number one. They were tops. They were number one, and that's how you got work. Now, because you can do voiceovers online, there's what's known as the non-union. And non-union voice actors are starting to work up in the industry because now they don't get residuals. You're usually one price, one and done. You get the money, you go to the next client, right? You go and do another audition, you go to the next client. So the non-unions is starting to become popular, right? Because now brand names out there, the big brands, Coca-Cola, Nickelodeon, Disney, they're noticing this, right? They're noticing that there's people that can do just as good of work as the union people, the professionals. There's people that sound just as good, and they don't have to pay as much, right? They don't have to pay these residuals out. It's cheap, right? They can. So that's how voiceover started to work its way into the online world. You record the thing, you send it in, you get paid, you're done, and then you move on to the next thing. So non-union is popular because you can get paid well, you can earn a living. You may not be getting residuals, so you got to work that extra hard. You got to do more work, right? You got to do a lot more work than the people in LA, Chicago, New York. So yeah, that's how the industry works. So now that you know how the industry works, that's how you kind of go. You have to go to these places: voices.com, Voices123, Upwork, Odesk. You can even find work on Craigslist, you guys. There's people. You got to think there's billions of people in the world. So there's a lot of people looking for voiceovers for their YouTube, their YouTube videos. I've done a lot of YouTube videos. There's voiceovers that people want in radio, mom and pop restaurants, commercials. People want to advertise their stuff. There's thousands of people wanting to advertise their stuff. Or I've been the voice of Qatar Airways, which is like commercials for an airport. So you just got to go out and look through these places, and you will find the work. But you got to have a good demo, right? That's the thing. People will not hire you unless you have a really good, solid demo. Like what a demo is basically it's 1 minute, 1 minute. You want to try not to go over 1 minute with your demo, because the demo is very important. You want to start off in the beginning of the demo. If you send your demo off, right, and the director's listening to it, the person that's going to hire you, if they start to listen to it and it doesn't sound good in the first 5 or 10 seconds, they're going to throw it away. They're going to be like, nope, next, because they're busy, you guys. If they post a job, you got to realize that there's hundreds of people sending them auditions. They don't have time to sit there and listen to 1 minute after 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 1 minute of a demo. So they're going to go for what sounds really good. If you send them a demo and they can hear your dog barking in the background, or they can hear your air conditioner, or they can hear your room echoing like this, they hear all this echo, that's not going to fly. That's not a good voiceover. They're going to hear that and they're going to throw it away. I've had some of my auditions thrown away, and they tell me that. That's how you learn, though. You learn by making mistakes. You're going to send an audition in. You're going to be like, oh, there's not that much room echo, but even this much room echo right here, you hear how you can faintly hear it when I turn my head away from the mic? Even that right there, I still need to treat some of my room. My room is not fully treated yet, but I still need to get that done. But yeah, you could hear my room right now. They're not going to take that. They're going to take this right here where you don't hear the room at all. If they can hear any kind of little tiny echo like you could hear right now, you could hear kind of like the faint echo of my room, that's bad. They're gonna be like, nope, I'm throwing that in the trash, and they don't even tell you, right? They're not gonna tell you. They're not gonna come back and be like, oh, sorry, you didn't get the role. We decided to pass it on. No, they're not gonna do that. They're just gonna throw it away, and they're gonna listen to the next audition, and if the next person gets it, they're gonna hire them, and you can't take that personally either in voiceover. You got to go ahead and audition. Don't just audition for one job, you guys, and then sit and wait around for a reply. That's not how it works. You need to audition, go wherever you're going to go audition, move on to the next thing. 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 Audition. Maybe one of those will be the one. There's a lot of factors. There's the treatment of your room. There's your voice itself. Does it match? Is it what they want? So there's a lot of factors in there, right? So that's auditioning. Now your demo is the other thing that they're going to listen to. You got to make sure the first 5 seconds is your real voice. Like if you're doing character demos, it depends on the demo too. There's commercial demos. There's character animation demos, and there's like narration and also like phone IVR demos. Evan Carpenter, I am streaming early, but I'm only streaming for like an hour, maybe an hour and a half. That's why I'm kind of going real quick. But we can come back to this too. We can go into certain things like auditioning, but I'm kind of giving you guys just like an overview. And if you guys like this, those of you that are watching this video afterward too, if you like this, let me know in the comments what else you want to get topicked on, and I can go into that. But yeah, it's your demo. If you can't, here's the other thing too. Your demo, if you can't build it yourself, you're gonna have to pay to get that built, right? Because a demo, I've built my own demos, but I forced myself to learn sound design because I didn't have $3,000. It's usually like what? It's usually probably like $700, $500 to $700 to get a sound designer to build your demo, because your demo has to have, generally it has to have music, sound effects, and it has to be built to transition really well through that 1 minute of listen time, right? Because the director that's you send your demo off to it, if you just send your voice like I am now with no music or sound effects, then they're not going to get an idea of what your voice sounds like over an emotional piece, right? Because if you're doing a voiceover for a hospital, it's going to be totally different kind of energy than doing a voiceover for a commercial, like any kind of commercial. And then each commercial is a different kind of, you gotta think about it, because voice acting, you guys, it is acting, right? You got to think about the emotions. What kind of emotion does this carry? Who am I talking to? Who am I speaking to? Who's my audience? Is my audience children? Is my audience 80 to 90-year-old people? Is my audience teenagers? Is my audience, the gaming community? Somebody that's trying to buy a piece of equipment or technology? Is it for a hotel? What is it for? Like, okay. And then you got to think about like the emotion behind it. Like, what is it going to sound like? What is it going to feel like? So those are the things you kind of like, you got to get your mind wrapped around it, because you got to act, right? If you just go into a car commercial and you're just speaking like this the whole time, and hey, come buy this Ford Focus, blah, 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 and there's hardly any energy. And if you're too much, come buy this Ford Focus, blah, 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 blah. And then that's too much energy. It sounds a little bit too salesy, and some people want the salesy thing. It just depends on what you're doing. So there's a lot of factors that go in. I really don't have much time to have to take a shower. Do you live stream again at 7 p.m.? Brian Ayla, I will live stream when I live stream. I don't really have a schedule right now on YouTube. But yeah, I hope you talk about motivation at some point. I need to learn how to motivate myself to work on my music career. Well, Zach, I can't really help you with the music career. If I could speak about music, I would, but I don't do music. So I sing, but I don't do music. Isn't that weird? Most people who sing play an instrument, but I do not. The only instrument I have is my mouth. What made you want to voice act? We already talked about that, Derp Knight. You were in here the whole time. Oh, I moved away. Hold on. But yeah, the Star Wars thing, that's what made me want to voice act. You can go back in the video and catch up on that if you want. But yeah, it's doing it is easy. The easy part is doing the job. Hold on, let me move my camera back over where it was. There we go. Doing the job is the easy part. Like getting the work, that's the work. Doing the auditions, that's the hard part. Like once you get it, you're having fun. Like you might have to do revisions on. Usually you're gonna do a revision. You know, you can't on the first take unless you know exactly what your client and what exactly they want. When you get a new client, more times than not, you're going to get a revision. They're going to be like, hey, do this word like this. Sometimes it's just 1 or 2 words, you know, but then you have to know how to edit, right? And that's another thing we're going to get into in a second. But editing, you know, you got to go in and edit a word or edit another word. Sometimes it's a sentence, you didn't read it right, so you have to go in and fix it up. So, and that's, you know, voice acting. You're not just going to read into a microphone, you guys, and send it off and that's it. It's not that cake. It's not that easy. As a voice actor, unless you're working for another person in a studio, those people, you know, the professionals, all they got to do is walk into a booth, do the read, and then leave. And they're done. They get paid. That's it. Now, if you're a non-union voice actor and you're working from home and you're trying to start your own business right in your home, you're doing everything. You're now not just a voice actor. You know, you're not just a voice actor. You're also now the sound designer. You're the editor. You are the director. You have to be able to self-direct. If you cannot self-direct yourself, if you do not know what sounds winning, right? If you don't know what sounds good, then you're not going to make it because you're going to send the directors and the auditioners crap and they're going to throw it away and you're never going to get it, right? So you got 2 factors usually. It's do you sound good, and do you have what the director is looking for in the voice? But yeah, I have a degree in advertising, and after 30 some odd years, I never used it. Although I thought I would be in New York working for a giant firm, but yeah, here I am. Yeah, and you know, it's like that's what voice acting is for commercials and all that and stuff. So yeah, that's the thing. So that's how I started, you guys, doing commercials, narrations, IVR, doing a lot of the stuff I didn't want to do necessarily, but you know what? People liked my voice, so it earned me money. And then eventually, after that, you get into you can get on YouTube and start, you know, you built your demo, right? I got into sound design. I figured out how to edit. I figured out how to do a lot of things just from doing these things. And then I started playing around, right? On YouTube. If you go back and look, you'll see it. I started building stories. I started doing creepypasta stories. And the way I would do these things is I would imagine it in my head, right? Whatever story I was reading, I would imagine it. What is it? What am I seeing in my head? I let the movie play out in my head. You know, use your imagination. And then I would put the sound design together as if I was watching the movie in my head. So when you listen to it, the same thing happens. You can hear and see everything that's going on. And that's how I learned sound design. You know, it took a little bit. You know, I had to like practice and mess around with it. But the program, if I use Adobe Audition, I don't use Pro Tools. To me, Adobe Audition is just very, very simple to use. Have I ever gotten stiffed on payment? No, actually, you know, I've had a lot of people that have been late on payments and I've had to go nag them, but I have never, out of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of projects that I've done, I've never had somebody stiff me on payment. I know it's crazy to believe. Now, I am going through that problem right now, but it's not a normal client. It's actually a furry. So, you know, it is what it is. But normal clients, I have never had anybody stiff me. They've been pretty good. Usually the clients that I work for, you know, that I've went after, I usually can gather whether they're going to be a good client by speaking to them. If usually I kind of filter people before I start working for them. If I'm working for somebody and I start to get into talks with them and they don't seem like they know what they want and they don't seem like they're really there with the project, you know, then I won't do it. But most of the people that I've worked for, I kind of talk to them first. I get to know them for a moment. Even through one email, you can see whether somebody's really worth working for or not. That's why a lot of people, they're like, hey, come do this thing for me. And I'm like, and I don't do it, you know, because I know they're not serious. They're just, you know, they're just throwing something out there. And it's the same with voice acting, you guys. There's a lot of people that are just, they're ignorant about it. They're like, oh, voice acting, oh, toss a coin to the witcher. But no, they're they're they don't know. They don't know what they want. They don't know, or the people that do it, they don't know how to do it. And it's like they just really need to kind of study up on it a little bit. But like how I'm telling you now, but they just don't get it. And it's like either you can't work with them, other voice actors. I've directed a lot of things, and when you try to work with other voice actors that don't get it, it becomes very difficult. You really want to find somebody that's actually put in the, you can tell when somebody's put in the hours, right? You feel their energy. You're like, okay, this person, they got it. Because if you don't, you guys, you're stuck there as a director you're trying to get them there, right? So let's say, a lot of you a lot of you have heard the Five Nights at Freddy's animations. Sometimes I'll bring in an actor and I'll tell them to do a character and they'll do it, and I'm like, well, you're not there. You got to do this. You got to don't just be free with it. Just do it. Scream. Just don't hold it in. Don't do this. Don't do that. Just let it out. You got to let the energy out. Don't hold it in. Don't hold back. That's what a lot of people do is that I try to work with. They'll hold back. I'm like, don't hold back. Let your energy out. It's just, that's the way it's going to sound right. And then, I heard you said before that good voice actors know how to sing because voice control. That is correct. Singing, you guys, if you go to practice singing, it will really help a lot because it does. You practice, you learn voice control. That's why they say a lot of singers, a lot of voice actors that are professionals in the industry, they started off singing. And that's, if you guys ever watch this show on YouTube called VO Buzz Weekly, it's a good resource, you guys. It's a good resource. Go look it up. VO Buzz Weekly with Chuck and Stacy. 100% they are a good resource. A lot of the voice actors there, very few of them. Now there's some that they don't know how to sing, but they just have a really beautiful voice and they got through that. Suna, I'd have to say Richard Horvitz for sure. But anyway, back to the thing. So yeah, a lot of people, a lot of like Rob Paulson and them. Wait, what was I talking about again? Oh yeah, the singing. The musicality. If you know how to sing, then you know how to do the sing-songy kind of. I don't want to say sing-songy because that can be bad for some voiceovers. They know, especially for animation, they know how to make up a character, right? Like Yogi Bear, for instance, and you guys can go and watch this on they actually mention this on one of the voiceover interviews or sessions for learning voiceover. Like Yogi Bear, you know how he talks? He's like, hey, boo-boo, and he's going way up here in the top part of his voice. And then other characters, you got to use a different part of your voice. Peter, what the hell's going on? How the hell do you afford these things? You're learning how to use different sections of your vocal cords. So you can go up here and then you gotta kind of commit to it. And then you can put a little bit of nasal into it and it sounds even different. That's another character right now. Do you like to smash? I love to smash. You have to really commit to it. You have to commit to that part of your voice, so you have to learn how to use it. And you could jump back into it, maybe put a little bit of, you can put a little bit of an accent in it, and then it can become a whole different thing. And then, then you got to think about, how is the character's attitude? Is this character grumpy? Is he mad all the time? How does he feel? Right, I don't want to. No, he's always negative. He never says yes. He's always no. I don't want to do this in spite. I always have to be the negative Nancy, You just have to think about, you got to get the generalization of a character and then fill it out with your creative talent. Here's the thing, you guys. You're not going to be able to do everything. A voice actor needs to stick with what they know how to do in their wheelhouse. Look at Batman. I can't think of names right now. The Batman voice, you guys. What is his name? Oh my god, I'm blanking out. His main thing is Batman. Like, that's what he's done for years. I don't know what he does now. He probably picks up several different roles now, but that was his thing for many years, you know? And you just got to figure out what works in your wheelhouse. Not everybody's going to be able to do Bugs Bunny. Just because you're a voice actor doesn't mean you need to be able to do everything. You do what is in your wheelhouse. What are you able to do? You know, can you impersonate Morgan Freeman very well? Then there you go. You can even alter it a little bit and create your own Morgan Freeman, which could become a character. You know, you could be like, hey, I can do Morgan Freeman really well, and I can do this thing really well. What would happen if I mix these two together? Morgan Freeman with a UK accent. What would that sound like? Somebody'd be able to put that together, and then that's a whole new character. You maybe your aunt. It's like acting, you guys. It's really voice acting. The word acting isn't just thrown in there for fucking fun and laughs. Acting. If you don't know how to act, you're going to have to go take some acting classes or something. Go do some plays, because you're really going to have to get in there and do the acting part of it, because you're going to, and what acting is, all acting is, you guys, is being able to express emotion, real emotion, while putting in, and when it comes to voice acting, while putting in other pieces of experiences from the outside world that you have experienced personally, or maybe that you've seen in movies or cartoons and stuff like that. So maybe the way your grandma talks, the way your uncle talks, how does they talk? Do they talk funny? Do they have a weird way that they hit their consonants or their vowels? You know, how do they speak? Take it, use it, put it in your character. If somebody wants this country bumpkin accent, well, Ian, you can take that and put a little bit of Barney in it, and how you got yourself another character, and you just stupid things like that. But you got to commit to it, and it has to be real. It can't just be stupid voice like this. This is not really much of anything, and it's just Barney kind. You got to be able to put the emotion in it. And that's the ingredient that a lot of people left out. You can come up with something like this, but if it doesn't have any emotion, if you can't take this voice and make it sad, you know, or you can't take it and make it really happy, because when you get it really happy, then something else happens to it and it gets crazy. You gotta put the ingredients. You gotta put the ingredients in there. Is he some kind of coked out character? Is he some kind of, thank you for the subscribe, by the way. Is he some kind of coked out character? Oh my God, what's going on? You know? You put the energy and the emotion in there, and then it becomes a character, right? So if you could do that, if you can take the voice and then add the experience and the emotion and the realness behind it, then it's believable. Then you have a character. And you got to not be afraid of putting the energy into this character, you know? Yeah, you can do an old man. You just gotta do this weird thing with the back of your throat, because when you're old, you gotta think about this stuff. What happens when you get old, you guys? You're weak. Maybe you can hardly speak, you know, and then you take it and, oh, what are you doing, child? Oh, you want the sword of alchemy? Well, lucky for you, I have it. You know, your voice is weak. When you're old, you're weak. So you got to kind of factor all that shit in and just kind of feel it. You're going to change your expressions. Your facial expression is going to change, especially if you do accents and stuff.
You change your face. Maybe something talks with a lisp. You got to change your face a little bit, because he talks out of the side of his mouth somehow.
You know, you got to really kind of feed yourself into it and put yourself there. Then it will sound good. By the way, the same way I first seen you playing VRChat talking about voice acting. Yeah, that was way back on Twitch. That was like last year. You have more auto insurance? That's Allstate, Stan. Are you in good hands? That's Allstate, Stan. Are you in good hands? He's my favorite dude right there. Dude, every time I'd hear him in the commercial, I'd be like, that sounds so sexy when he does that. But anyway, yeah, like, and you have to know, and the thing is, you guys, when you go to do this stuff online, you have to be crucial and critical on yourself. You got to criticize yourself all the time. You have no idea how many auditions I've been sent during projects where people ask me to pick up people on actors and stuff. Or I've just went around to projects where people are trying to find other actors and they put samples or people post their sample of what they sound like doing the lines that are required, and they sound so bad. I'm like, I'm gonna get this. You do it. You listen to all that, right? There, you go to an animation project, right? You start to listen to the people that are posting their examples, right, of the audition, and it's like it sounds really bad. You're like, I can hear this dude's room. This dude over here's
He's trying to put on a voice, but it doesn't sound like it has any commitment to it, and he's not reading the lines. It just sounds like he's reading the lines rather than express the lines,
and then it's like, okay, that's it doesn't sound good. So you got to critique yourself when you're doing this stuff. Play it back. Does it sound amazing? Yo, if it doesn't sound amazing to you, it's not going to sound amazing to the director. Don't record something and be like, okay, that's passable, I'll send it. Don't do that. Don't do that, because they'll listen to it and then they'll throw it away. They're going to throw it away, you guys. Most of the time, if you're wanting to work for people that are putting out professional stuff and not just goofy cartoons like half of the shit you see on Newgrounds that sounds like crap, but there's some shit on Newgrounds that's actually really good too. And if you want to work on animations for those animators that do the really good work, Sam Green, Twisted Grimm, H. Bruna, GeoX, there's a lot of fantastic animators right out there. But the thing is people that usually animate really, really, really good, like Tony Krynite and all them, they don't want a voiceover in there that sounds like poop, right? Because their animation is really good. They're not going to drag down the quality of their animation by putting a shitty voiceover in there. They want something that sounds just as good as the visuals that are playing on the screen. So, that's just the way it is. I agree. I make like 90 takes to make perfect. You make like 90? What does that mean? I'm just worried because my vocal range is very limited and I don't know anyone that'd really want to hire me for anything. Well, Smeggles, you gotta learn. You have a very high-pitched voice. You have a very unusual voice. You have to learn how to... You'd be good at doing little tiny characters, but the thing is you're going to have to get a really good mic and you're going to have to be understandable. That's another thing we can get into later, you guys. Being understandable. You have to be able to know the words that people are saying. A lot of people, they'll speak, and I do it too. I had to learn this too in the beginning. They'll speak like you'll do a commercial and some word, maybe the C, the consonant or the T or some part of the word just didn't read out right. And it doesn't sound like the word. It sounds like something else. So when people listen back to it, it might not sound how it should. The voice sounds great, but you hit words wrong. You didn't carry a vowel where you need. And that's another thing, playing with vowels, playing with your consonants, like a lot of those characters out there. You notice how some of your favorite characters, you guys, how they talk. You just like the way they hit the end of a word. That's on purpose. That's not accident usually. Like when I'm trying to think of an example here. You can either say, "Oh, that's fantastic," or you can say, "Oh, that is fantastic." You're hitting the T's and you're elongating the vowels a little bit. You're creating something. It's like you're painting a little bit with using the consonants and the vowels. You're stretching them out a little bit. You're not just speaking them. You're playing with them just a little bit, and you can fucking do stuff with that. And that can become a character. You just got to play with it. Yeah, Speedy Gonzalez had to be really hard. That's the thing, you guys. Another thing, Speedy Gonzalez. How do you speak like a really fast character and make the words completely understandable? Right? That's challenging. Creating the voice and being able to speak like this really fast is kind of hard, right? So you have to be able to speak fast, but you also got to be able to speak really fast so you understand the words. Because if you speak really fast and you jump over your words, they have to be understandable. Every word has to be understandable, Yeah, like I can do 3 octaves if I remember. And Smeggles, that's the thing. Can you do a lower pitched voice? A lot of females in the industry do little boys, like children. They do little kids' voices. So can you do that? Can you get down there? And usually for a female to get a child's voice, all they do is they get to their lowest timbre, which still sounds almost like female, but not, which is the child kind of slipping in. They go down here. I can't do it because I'm not a female, but they try to get down into their lowest, their lowest octave right here. And then they usually put like a tiny bit of nasally in, kind of like Chunky Finster. And when they get to the lowest part of their voice as a female and they stick this little thing right in here, this little thing right in here. See, I can do a child. I can do a child, but I'm a male, so it's always going to sound like a silly child. It's not going to be like a little. And then you got to get you got to get the emotion. You got to put more ingredients in. How do children speak? I totally didn't do it. It wasn't my fault. He did it. I just don't look at me. You gotta go and look. How do the children they put their arms together when they're shy and they're doing this a lot, and you just gotta go over the top. So like Chucky, for example, let's pull up an example of Chucky real quick. Let's see. I know my head's gonna look up in the air for a second, but listen to Chucky Finster for a second. You'll hear it. She's going into the deepest part of her voice. Rip Chucky's actress, by the way. She is not living anymore. But listen to Chucky's voice. You'll hear it. It's the lowest timbre of a female's voice with a little bit of the. So let's see. Where's Chucky speaking? Remember. Okay, here we go. Chucky, you gotta speak, not sigh. Hold on, let me see. Okay, let's see. Maybe he's saying something right. I made it! I made it, you guys! I made it! Look, I'm on top of the world! See, you can tell it's a female going, the small, getting down here, and this is where it is right here. But I can't do it because I'm male. It's like right here, and then you just put in all the little, you got to feel the kid. You got to be able to talk and slur and plop over your words just like a child does. And then it comes out as believable, Let's see. Where's another one? It's him trying to slide down a slide and he's like super scared to do it. Okay, here goes nothing. Yeah, it sounds like a boy, doesn't it, though? It's actually very, very believable. Tara Strong is good. Tara Strong is very cute. She uses the highest part of her voice for a lot of her characters. He's very squeaky and up here, and it's crazy. Tara does a lot of the cutie pie characters. Because her voice is very high and it's very squeaky and cute. So she just kind of takes that and puts it in a lot of her characters. She can also do like little boy characters. I don't know if Tara Strong, I don't know what boy characters she's done now. I'd have to pick it up. I know most of her, like Bubbles, I think she does. Bubbles and yeah. But yeah, she has a very high cutesy voice. But that's the thing. You got to find what works with your voice and apply that to the work. Don't try to do shit that other people's doing, y'all. Don't ever be jealous or anything like that of what somebody else is doing, because you are you. You do what you do. There is something special about you that you can do that other people cannot. Like your voice is your voice. Nobody else has your voice. How do you take that and hone that and market it? Because essentially you are marketing yourself in the voiceover industry. You're marketing yourself. How do you market your voice? The hardest part about voiceover and getting started in it, you guys, is figuring out where do you belong. It's like music, right? If you're becoming a musician, you got to figure out, oh shit, how do I, as a guitar player or as a singer, where do I belong? Do I sing pop music? Do I sing rock music? Do I do opera? Do I go on theater and sing in theatrical Broadway productions? Where do I fit? You have to figure out where your talents belong. That's a hard part. That's a long self-exploratory road. You got to, and it comes from just doing it. You got to practice. That's how I found. I'm still exploring. You'll find stuff all the time, you guys. The learning never stops. The learning never stops. So you just got to kind of do stuff, put it out there, and you'll figure it out. People will critique you, especially if you're posting it to YouTube. They will critique you, and you're not going to like a lot of the critiquing, but it's necessary to kind of be like, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore, you know? And so the same thing with voiceover. You're going to be like, okay, you might want to go in doing animation and cartoons, but then you discover after a certain commercial that you have a really good commercial voice, right? You're like, hey, this dude keeps bringing me back for work. Maybe I should audition more with this kind of voice that I have in my commercial demo. And then all of a sudden you're getting all these commercials and you're making money. You originally wanted to go in and do a cartoon animated voice because, everybody is usually passionate about doing that in the beginning. But then you go do real projects. You're doing radio stuff. You're doing commercials. You're doing narrations. You're doing all this other stuff. And you're like, hey, I'm finding what people are starting to hire me for. And you find your niche. That's what it is. You find your niche. And then you're like, I'm going to do this. This is what people are liking the most. And that's how you start finding your groove, I seen a spot for a radio being made and the voice actor had done 20 some odd takes already by the time I got there. Oh yeah. Well, even in movies, sometimes you're going to have a hard time. The director, and it happens, especially in the beginning, sometimes there's a lot of factors, you guys. The script may not be written grammatically correct. The director might not know exactly what they want and they want you to come in and wing it. And they're probably having a lot of other people come in and wing it just to see who fits the most. And, this doesn't usually happen because they find you in the audition and they bring you in once they know you have the talent. But sometimes you go in for a project and you're just not getting it. 1 take, 2 takes, 3 takes, 4 takes. And by the 20th take, if you're not getting it, you're probably not correct for the job, So, but, once the director brought you in, they're paying for that time, right, in the studio. Now, if you're working from home, you ain't got to worry about that. You can do as many audition takes as you want, but you got to make sure you can edit it yourself. And that kind of thing. But yeah, if you can't do it in 3 or 4 or 5 takes, at the most 5 takes, then it might not be whatever project you're working on. It might not be for you. No. Are links allowed? It's a clip from the Boondocks bonus features that links right to Regina King doing Riley and Huey. No, we can't watch that on YouTube, Nuo. This is YouTube. Remember that. We can't do that kind of stuff on here. I just realized I can make money off my voice pitch. I mean, if that works for you, Jersey Mikes. Jersey Mikes, why don't you go do voiceovers for fucking Jersey Mike subs? You're already selling their subs right here in the chat. But okay, you guys, let me get in. Here's the other side of voice acting, though. This is what I want to get into really quick. I can get into it more later, but editing. As a voice actor, you guys, especially if you're wanting to work from home and you want to work for YouTube animators or you want to work for commercials or you want to go to Odesk or Upwork or Voices.com or Voices123 or, all these places where you can go audition. There's endless. You can contact video production houses and see if they have voice acting roles for you. You can find, if you go out and look for the work, you guys, it's out there. Remember, there's billions of people in the world. There's probably millions of advertisements. Somebody needs your voice. The work is out there. You just got to go find it, create a reputation, get the clients, and then you can go for it. But okay, the editing part is the other half, right? Let me pull that up here. Let me see if I can. I think I have it still open. Okay, so here's the editor, right? I use Adobe Audition. You guys should be able to see it. Let me take this off for a second here. Hold on a second. Oh my goodness, I gotta transition, y'all. Okay. So editing. This is the other half of voice acting, right? You're gonna have to learn how to come in here in a program like Adobe Audition. Let's just record something for the hell of it. And, you know, can you guys see everything okay in the program? So let's just record something just for the hell of it, right? So you're going to have to come in here and now you got to play director. Does it sound good? Are you listening back? How are you going to clean up the voices and all this stuff like that? So you stop it, right? You're listening back. Let's just record something just for the hell of it, right? So you're going to have to be able to learn how to take the bass, and some people might not want the bass in your voice. So you're going to have to be able to come in here and figure out how to use an equalizer, right? You're going to have to figure out how to get rid of certain pitches. You're going to have to put the gold in your voice, essentially. Now, sometimes I'll put a little bit of editing. Typically, most directors want the voice dry. What dry means is they want it with no effects, nothing added onto it. But sometimes I will go in and put a little touch on it. If the project is a commercial or an animation, depending, I'll put a little bit of a touch on it. But yeah, equalizer, you guys. Now, how this works, this may look confusing to most of you. Think of it like this. Oh, hold on. Is it even showing it? Oh, it's not even showing it. Hold on a second. You know what? Let me do this. Okay, that's better. Okay, so the equalizer, you guys. You see the equalizer right here. Think of it like this. The left side is the bassy parts of your voice, and then it goes to the middle parts of your voice, and then all the way to high frequency noises. Think of it like that, from left to right, low to highest. So for example, let me play back just a section and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. Oh, hold on, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so let's play this back. Let's just record something just for the hell of it, right? So let's just record something just for the hell of it, right? So let's just record something just for the hell of it, right? So let's just record something just for the hell of it. You hear the bass leaving my voice? Let's just record something just for the hell of it. Now you can tell right here. Let's just record something just for the hell of it, right? So you hear the bass? Record something just for the hell of it, right? So that's how you mess with your voice, you know, right? So let's just record something just. So that's how to play with, and you can play with all parts of it. The middle, take the muddiness out if you want to take the muddiness out, you know, playing with, and you can make it. There's easier ones. Usually I don't use those. I use this one. I'll show you the one I use. This is the one I typically use right here. Now, the best way to take out the muddiness in your voice is like this right here. See, now if you listen, let me record something that's very obvious really quick. Okay, so this is going to be really bassy because I'm really effing close to the mic. So watch this. Okay, this is going to be really bassy because, uh-oh, there was a glitch right here. Hold on. It's going to be really bassy because I'm really effing close to the mic. So watch this. It's going to be really... It glitched out. Hold on, let me do it again. All right. Testing, probably because I'm streaming or recording. Testing. The bass in my voice. Delicious. Okay, so let's try this. Hopefully that one didn't skip. Testing, probably because I'm streaming or recording. Testing. See how that works? The bass in my voice. It's delicious. Okay, testing, probably because I'm streaming or recording. The more you take it, the more it goes away. Voice. Delicious. Okay, testing, probably because I'm streaming or recording. Now you can hear all the parts from the lowest in my voice to the highest. Okay, testing, probably because I'm streaming or recording. Testing. The bass in my voice. Delicious. Okay, testing, probably because I'm streaming. So, and you can add to it too. Testing. The bass in my voice. Delicious. Okay, testing, probably because I'm streaming or recording. Testing. The bass in my voice. Delicious. Okay, testing. You know, it's all about you'll learn how to play with this stuff. And then you okay it and it changes the frequencies and then it's testing and it's stuck like that. So yeah, it's a lot of playing around. But you'll figure it out. And then you're like, holy shit, I actually like playing with this stuff, right? And then you can add voices. Let's see. Let me play with something really quick. I have a lot of different filters and stuff that I've bought and added, so they work really well. But like,
let's test this one out. We don't want to make it too loud.
Okay, and then you take it, normalize it, and then this is how I'll play. This is like, let me normalize it so it's not loud. And you can play with stuff like this. Like, this is literally how I started, you guys. I just played around, goofed around for hours and hours.
Let's test this one out. We don't want to make it too loud. Let's test this one out. We don't want to make it too loud. Let's test this one out. We don't want to make it too loud. Let's test this one out. We don't want to make it too loud. Let's test this one out. We don't want to make it too loud. Let's test this one out. We don't want to make it too loud.
You know, you can make all kinds of things.
This one might sound familiar to most of you if I have it set correctly.
Let's see if it does it. I haven't done the character in a long time, so I fucking forgot how to do it, y'all. Okay, so...
this one might sound familiar to most of you if I have it set correctly. This one might sound familiar to most of you if I have it set correctly. This one might sound familiar.
Does that sound familiar?
Most of you if I have it set correctly.
So yeah, if you just mess with stuff, you could do all kinds of stuff. Like, listening back, how are you gonna...
This one...
Yeah, so you just mess around, play around, and you can make shit happen. But yeah, let me go back over here.
Okay, hold on. Go back.
How long have I been streaming? Way too long, probably. Like, throwing out way too much info at once, too. I can't digest all this info. That's what people are going to say when they watch this video back, right? Okay, hold on. Okay. So, yeah. You know, that's the, that's how I made Springtrap, essentially. It's very easy, but there's a lot to it. You got to mess with the voice a little bit, deepen him slightly, and then it's Springtrap. But that's close. That was like doing it very quickly. As a free alternative to the viewers, there is also Audacity. Yeah, okay, so Adobe Audition, you do have to pay for, you guys. Now, Audacity is free. Literally, you can do most of the same shit with Audacity. Audacity, if you want to send in commercial narration, all that stuff like that, Audacity is perfect. It's the same exact thing. It does most of the same stuff. There's an equalizer in there. You can still mesh with your voice just like that. Now, adding in those special robotic effects, you might have to get another program for that. One that you can add chorus, because essentially all Springtrap is a chorus. I don't know if you can add choruses to stuff on Audacity, but hold on, oh, there we go. But yeah, in Audacity, if it does have it, then you could probably do it. Uh-oh, where did the chat go? Hold up. Oh, there it is. Okay. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to mess with stuff. Oh, well, that's fine. Anyway, this looks like a CGI animated podcast. That's what it is, pretty much. I like seeing you explain your work and how you do it. Yeah, it's fun stuff. Like, literally for a long time, that's what I did for the entire year of pretty much 2012 and 2013. That's what I was doing. I was learning that program. If you have a potato mic, do these programs filter out the white noise? No, Steven, no. And we were talking about that earlier, but yeah, nothing is going to take away the shitty sound of your room. You don't want to record with your room sounding like this because there's no way to fix that. The white noise, if you have like an air conditioner or a computer and it's not that loud, literally all you can do is put a suppressor on your... Here, I'll show you. There's a suppressor on my voice right now, even while recording this. I do it on OBS. Here, hold on, guys. I know I'm looking up in the air. But you might be able to hear my computer if I turn the suppressor off. Listen carefully. Let me turn it up. All right, can you guys hear my computer right now? Probably not. Now let me turn it off. Can you hear it now? kind of in the background. There's a little bit of white noise in the background, a little bit. Now I'm going to turn it back on. That goes away. I don't know if you could hear it because I can't tell on my end. But yeah, there's... Just use a noise suppressor. Like if it's very light noise, but if you have like a preamp or something that's really loud when you turn up the gain, okay, there is a way. I will show you. Hold on a second. There is actually another way to get rid of shit in the background. I'll show you really quick. Hold on a second. Let's go back over here for a moment. Okay, so there is another way in the program to get rid of it. Now, again, it has to be very light noise. It can't be, because if it's too much, right? If it's too much and you try to clear this stuff out, you're going to get artifact sounds. And I can show you what an artifact sound is. Hold on, let me do this. It's going to get really loud for a second. And I gotta speak a little bit, you know, because stuff and things. Okay, so you guys might not have been able to hear the white noise, but I heard it. You could see it too. See all this shit? You don't want that you don't want it that loud. You can have some white noise. If it's kind of quiet, usually directors don't mind that. They can clean it up themselves. If they're a sound designer, they can. Now, here's the thing, too. A lot of clients you work for out there, you guys, they're not sound designers. They're not directors. They're just a person that works at a restaurant or a business. They know nothing about voiceover. You're the pro. You're the sound designer. You're the director. You're the voice actor. That's most of your clients, right? So when you send them stuff, you got to make sure it sounds good. They'll usually accept it, whatever. And they'll give you... Now, a sound designer, you can send them... If you're sending stuff to a professional place, they'll do everything themselves. All you got to do is read the read and send it in. They'll fix it themselves. But, okay, so if I were to take this, what you do is you basically mark the white noise. I just marked it. Basically, what is it? Just saves that noise. Then you go in here and you're going to have to learn how to mess with these settings. I usually set the spectral decay rate to 20%. This is usually at 100% noise reduction because it's going to kill 100% of what you just marked, essentially. So you're basically the noise reduction and you're reducing it by, I have it 10.5 decibels, right? So when I click on that and then I click OK, let me do it over the entire voiceover too. When I click OK, all that's going to go away. Oops, hold on. Yep, see, it kind of went down a little bit. Here, let me do this though. Okay, and then this. And then it should go away. Most of it should go away. See how it you can't see it that much anymore? That's good. And then and then you can't speak a little bit, you know, because now the thing is when you go to turn up the voiceover because there was too much white noise, now you're going to hear artifacting. Listen, you could hear it in the background. It sounds like, have you ever heard a reel video, you guys, like a really bad QuickTime video with low quality, and you hear these little janglies in the background? It sounds like, I don't even know how to describe it. It sounds spectrally. It sounds, let me see if you can hear it. And I gotta speak a little bit, you know, because stuff and things. It's very faint, but you can barely hear it. But if I were to, I'm not sure how to do it on purpose. I'd have to have some really loud noise in here, or like a really shitty voiceover. I can't do it. I'd have to have some, like a fan going or something. But yeah, you hear the weird shit in the background that you don't want to hear because it's trying to eliminate the noise, but it's also eliminating your voiceover. And so you end up with this weird sounding, it's a tinny sound. It's a weird tinny sound in the background and it sucks. So yeah, you don't want that kind of stuff in the background. But yeah, and that's how you get rid of white noise. It just has to be, you know, it has to be very fairly low. And it's not this one, the kind of white noise that I have is not too bothersome. Like you can probably barely hear it when I play it back. Oh, you can hear it right here though, because it was loud. It has to be, you know, it has to be very fairly low. And it's not this one, the kind of white noise that I have is not too bothersome. Like you, but yeah, and that's pretty much how you do that. Your ears. Yeah, and that's pretty. Oh, and another thing, you guys, when you're doing your voiceovers, here's another thing, right? You're going to have to learn how to do this kind of stuff because you don't, well, but like,
Let's
breaths. See this breath right here? For example, I'm doing a voiceover about a car. You're not going to be doing that, obviously. I'm doing, let's see, here. I'm doing a voiceover about a car. It's cool. I like it. I'm going to Chuck E. Cheese's later. Everything's amazing, right? Okay, so when you do this, it's cool. You don't want this. Cool. That breath in, people generally don't like this unless it's natural. Unless it came very natural in the voice actor, or in the voice, in the piece. But you can't stop and take a breath sometimes. Cool. It just doesn't sound right. You might have to edit it out. So you have to come in here and just be like, turn it down. It's cool. I like it. See, and then it takes out that obnoxious breath in, right? Cool. I like it. And that way it flows way more better. You don't have to hear that inhale, which a lot of people do not like the inhale. Later. Now, you don't want to cut it in a way where it sounds like a cut. Like this sounds like a cut. Cheeses later. You don't want it to sound like a cut. You want it to sound natural. So this one sounds natural. Cool. I like it. That sounds, but this sounds like, that one sounded like a cut. So you gotta make sure it sounds natural. That's how I did the singing stuff. I made all the singing stuff sound like it was all one take. You have to do that. You have to make it perfect or it's not gonna fly. So yeah. Oh no, you can breathe, but if it doesn't sound natural in the voiceover, like if it's very obnoxious sounding, you have to fix that. Cuz you just don't want to hear that. Yeah, Rosillo, that's why I said it has to sound natural. If you breathe, it has to come in a natural place. Like the thing is you have to learn how to inhale like without doing it very loudly. There's a lot of things in voiceover, you guys, that you have to learn how to do. Like for when you go to do a voice role, if you're doing a commercial, take a big breath in and then go to do the commercial, read it, because then you can kind of take natural pauses whenever you want. But then you're not taking, see how I'm talking? Listen to how I'm talking. I'm not taking any inhales hardly. I'm doing this all in one breath. Everything is coming out. You hear how there's no inhale. But if you just go ahead and do it normally like this, I'm going to talk to you guys right now. Everything's going good. And then you have to take another breath, right? Because you started normally like you would if you were talking to somebody normally. But if you take that, if you use your diaphragm and you take that inhale, and then you go and you're talking and then you're speaking the commercial, you're doing the role. You hear how I'm not breathing in right now? Nothing is distracting. I'm not having to take another breath in. It's all just coming out pretty naturally, So there you go. Like the breaths can be kind of distracting. They just don't want that distraction typically. But yeah, what can you do with the Laphin character? I mean, the Laphin character is me, Comic DJ. That is just me. It is me right here, what you're listening to. There's nothing special about it. The mouth movements. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you guys voice acting is just, I'm not doing it. I'm just being me right now. This is just VRChat. This has nothing to do with voice acting. I'm speaking about everything outside of it. But yeah, that's about it, y'all. What has it been? An hour already? How long has this been going? I think we're ready to tie this one up. We can come back and jump on more topics. I thought I'd throw everything out there, but we can't even get to everything in 1 hour. I was only going to make this like an hour long. The character can do all what Laphin can do because it's me. Yeah, exactly. Why is my eyes just constantly looking over? My eyes are just constantly looking over there. I have no idea why. Okay, now I'm kind of looking at the camera. Shit. I don't know. But yeah, it was fun. You guys, I know I was talking super fast through the whole thing. I was trying to get as much in an hour as I could. I think we nailed a lot of stuff. Obviously, you guys, each topic that we discussed today has a deeper meaning to each one. You can go so deep into each thing that I've talked about today that yeah, I hit the mic. There's so many things. It's a lot to take in with voiceover. But yeah, because there's so many fields, right? There's a lot to the industry. There's a lot to being a director. There's a lot to being an editor. There's a lot to knowing how to put sound together in a way that works and sounds good for the client that you're working for, you know. It's very deep, Kane. It's even deeper than Kane, if you believe that, if you can believe it. Lewd. But all right, you guys, I'm going to get out of here. Shower me with my Yini voice. I'm about to shower you with something else, Rectal Bisque. More lewds. But yeah, that's pretty much the overview. And there's a lot more. We could come back and have more topics on this, you guys. But go into the Discord. Give me questions. The Discord is gg.laphin, or no, discord.gg/laphin. Very easy to find. And we can talk more about it. But yeah, it's already been an hour. I don't want to stay in here too long. I think it's been an hour. How long has it been? What does it say, Tab? What time are we at right now? I wish we had a time thing. I can't really see it because, you know, stuff and things. What time are we? How long has it been? I need to get like a thing. I should have turned on the timer up there. Oh, I guess it is on. I should have looked at it and put a mark on it. That's for next time. This is my first time doing all this. 75 minutes? 74 minutes. Okay, yeah, we've been an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 10 minutes. It's fine. It's good. But yeah, you guys join the Discord. If you're interested, I can come back and do stuff that's a little bit more on topic instead of just an overview about what voiceover is, because that'll be, then I can really get into it, you know, talk about certain things. But I'm going to jump out of here, you guys. I would play an outro, but I got to put another one together. So I'm going to see you guys later. I was thinking about making this a members only video, but I'll keep it, you know, I'll keep it up. I want to see how many people are actually interested in it. Obviously, I'm not going to be doing voiceover conversations all the time, but a lot of people ask me, they're like, how do I get into the industry? And most of the time when I start to tell them, they become disinterested because then they realize how much work they realize how much work is involved, and the only thing they want to know about is cartoons and animation. And if you're looking to get into cartoons and animation full-time and voiceover, y'all, and that's it from your house, from your home, I can tell you right now, unless you're fucking absolutely 99% lucky, it's not going to happen. You're going to get into commercials, narration, and other stuff first. If you want to get paid, you're going to be getting into, you know, doing commercials and narration. That is the majority of what voiceover makes up. Now, once you get a reputation and you start making character demos and you start doing stuff for people on Newgrounds and stuff like that, and you start learning and figuring out that's how you figure out where your niche is. And then you can start doing more. And you can start getting into animation, cartoon and stuff. It took a while for me. It took over a year before I even did my first animation, I think, you know, for someone. Because I was getting into the real, you know, Odesk and Upwork and the real where the real money is out there. If you want to make a living, you got to generally start by doing that stuff first, you know. But yeah. All right, you guys, but that's it. Let me get out of here. I'll see you guys later. Have a good afternoon. Have a good evening. I will probably be live streaming tonight too, doing some gaming. So if you guys want to check that out, I'll be there. You guys have a good one. Bye-bye. I'm going to remove my head now. Oh, my God. Oh, Jesus. Oh. There it is.